The memorial service for John Davis brought together family, close friends, and a deeply connected online community who had followed his journey for years through the beloved Coffee Time with John and Momma live streams. What unfolded was not just a farewell, but a heartfelt celebration of a life that had quietly become part of many people's daily routines. Across the room and across online tributes, one message remained consistent. John Davis made people feel seen, welcomed, and valued. The service reflected the same warmth that defined his presence online. There was a sense of intimacy in the atmosphere, as if those attending were not only remembering a public figure, but also someone they genuinely knew. Photographs and personal memories were shared, highlighting moments from his life that extended far beyond the camera. For many, it was a reminder that behind every live stream and video was a real person with family, relationships, and a story that mattered deeply to those closest to him. Family members spoke with emotion about John's character, describing him as someone who carried kindness into every space he entered. They emphasized his devotion to his mother, often affectionately known to viewers as Mama, and reflected on the bond they shared both privately and publicly. That relationship, which became a central part of his online identity, was also a central part of his life away from the screen. Those who knew him best described it as genuine, grounded, and filled with mutual care. As the service continued, attention turned to the impact John had on a much wider audience. Though many in attendance had known him personally, countless others knew him only through screens, yet still felt a strong emotional connection. Messages from viewers were read aloud, some sent from different countries, each expressing gratitude for the comfort and companionship his content provided. Many spoke about how his videos helped them through loneliness, difficult periods, or everyday struggles, offering a sense of familiarity in an often disconnected world. One of the most repeated sentiments was that John Davis had a unique ability to make people feel like part of something larger. His live streams were never about performance or perfection. Instead, they were about conversation, presence, and shared moments. Whether he was talking about daily life, preparing food with his mother, or simply sitting with a cup of coffee and speaking to viewers, there was an authenticity that resonated deeply. That authenticity became the foundation of the community that now mourns his loss. Friends who attended the memorial described John as someone who remained humble despite his growing online presence. He never seemed interested in fame for its own sake. Instead, he focused on connection. According to those closest to him, he often spoke about how meaningful it was to know that people found comfort in his content. That sense of purpose gave his work a depth that extended far beyond entertainment. During the service, moments of reflection were balanced with quiet gratitude. Rather than focusing solely on grief, speakers emphasized appreciation for the time they had with him. Stories were shared that painted a picture of humor, patience, and kindness in everyday situations. These memories helped transform the service into something more than a goodbye. It became a collection of moments that celebrated who he was as a person. Online, the memorial was mirrored by thousands of tributes. Fans revisited old live streams, particularly those featuring John and Momma together, and shared their favorite clips and memories. Many described feeling as though they were watching with new eyes, noticing small details that now carried greater emotional weight. What once felt like ordinary conversations had become cherished recordings of time spent with someone they admired. The emotional response from the community highlighted the unique relationship between creators and audiences in the digital age. John Davis was not a celebrity in the traditional sense, yet his impact reached far and wide. Through consistent presence and authenticity, he built trust with viewers who returned not for spectacle, but for comfort and connection. That kind of relationship often leads to a deeper sense of loss when it ends, because it feels personal even without physical proximity. Several speakers at the memorial acknowledged this phenomenon directly. They spoke about how modern online communities can create real bonds between people who may never meet in person. In John's case, That bond was strengthened by his consistent sincerity. He did not present a curated version of himself. Instead, he allowed viewers to see his everyday life, his personality, and his relationship with his mother in a natural and unfiltered way. As the service drew to a close, there was a shared understanding that John Davis's legacy would continue through the memories he created and the content he left behind. His live streams remain accessible, serving as a reminder of the conversations, laughter, and quiet moments that defined his presence. For many, those recordings will continue to offer comfort long after the memorial. Outside the formal service, messages of condolence continued to pour in. Viewers expressed gratitude for the time they had spent watching him and shared how his presence had become part of their routines. Some said they would start their mornings with his coffee time streams, while others found solace in watching during difficult evenings. That consistency created a sense of companionship that is not easily replaced. Ultimately, the memorial for John Davis was not defined by sadness alone, but by appreciation. It reflected a life that, while lived partly in the public eye, was rooted in sincerity and connection. Those who knew him personally and those who knew him through a screen came together in shared remembrance, united by the impact he had made in different ways. John Davis will be remembered not only for his live streams or online presence, but for the feeling he gave people, that they were part of a conversation, part of a community, and part of something real. In that sense, his legacy continues every time someone replays a video, shares a memory, or simply sits with a cup of coffee and thinks of the warmth he once brought into their day.